All right, y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to another live. Back in the building. All right. Give me 1 second here. Let's see what we got. Just want to pull this other screen up. Give me 1 second. See some of y'all already in the chat. What's going on? Okay, he said Lolita, Saint, Easy, what's up? He said, let me see. Anyone watching the Super Bowl? Nah, man, ain't nobody watching Super Bowl over here. I ain't watching no Super Bowl. Okay. Yeah, okay, almost got this. Here we go. All right. All right, y'all. So what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another live. I think this is like, episode 146. We can call it that, or is just another live? Yeah. We back. But this time I want to jump on some strawweights. You know, we've been talking about flyweight. Some of y'all always be asking about the strawweight division, like what I think of what's going on here. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it, man. But yeah, I ain't watching no Super Bowl. You know me. Come on. I'm not a football fan. I'm a combat sports fan. And that's about it, really. Like, I used to watch basketball, but not anymore. You know, I don't know if I kind of grew out of it or what, but I just don't watch it anymore like that. Let me see. Hold on. Easy said it's boring so far. Saint said it's football's boring. Yeah, it's boring. What's up, Marcus? Paul, what's up? He said, so glad you're live. Nothing else going on tonight. I know, right? See, Paul ain't watching no Super Bowl either. He said ain't nothing going on. So yeah, I feel you, man. So that's why I say I got to get on tonight, because I said ain't nothing else going on. So, let me go ahead and do what I got to do today, then jump on. But yeah, man, let's talk about some straw weights. I said this was probably a good time to do it since we did have a fight last night. Only one. Did anybody watch the card last night? I didn't really pay attention to every single fight. Like maybe a few fights. Because even sometimes when it's just maybe like one WMMA fight, I might still tune in, but I didn't really like watch too many of the fights on the card. I watched the Flowers and Michael Johnson fight. It wasn't a bad fight. And who else did I watch? Did I watch that Vieira Petrosian fight? I think I did. It was a quick one. And I watched that Tavares Rodriguez fight. But that was about it. Paul said he watched it. What'd you think of the card, Paul? Marcus, I know he said he was like falling asleep during the card, but what did y'all think of the card? Like, is it worth going back and watching? I mean, there was a few finishes on here. Of course, I did go back and watch Loma and Bruna. Like, is it worth going back and watching? I mean, if I'm bored, or I'll go back and watch. It was like 14 fights on the card, So yeah, I'll check it out. But let me see. Yeah, that's why I wanted to get on live and talk to strawweights this time, because they had they had that one strawweight fight between Loma and Bruna, and we had a few strawweight fights leading up to this one, right? And we still got a lot lined up, about the same number like we did with flyweight fights, all the way up till May. We got, let me see, what fights we got scheduled. We got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got about 10. We got about 10 strawweight fights lined up. I know it seems a little bit more exciting with flyweight because a lot of those fights are new, and we've already seen a lot of these strawweights before. But some of these should be good. There's a lot of unranked fighters here that still need to make some noise. But yeah, I'm gonna do like I did earlier this week, just kind of run through the schedule and give y'all a heads up of what's going on, because I didn't know it was this many fights. I didn't know I didn't know it was this many fights. James said, how much of an upset would you consider if Jan beats Weili on a scale of 1 to 10? I'd say probably I'd say probably between like a 7 and an 8. Yeah, I would say between like 7 and 8, maybe 8, maybe as high as an 8, because everywhere I go, everybody said nobody's picking her. Yeah, yeah. Sink said 8 too. I would say 8, James, because I can't even really say 7 because that's kind of low. I mean, you're in the ballpark. You're in the ballpark, 7.7, 7 to 8, because I say 8 or maybe even an 8.5 because nobody's picking y'all. And now I'm laughing because Easy said I would say 20. Easy said 20. Cause see, that's why I'm saying 8, because ain't nobody really giving her a chance. I mean, outside of me maybe seeing the possibility of her winning, I don't see anybody else giving her a chance. So really, you could almost say 9. You could almost say 9, man. I might go as high as to say 9 because outside of me, just seeing her maybe get a knockdown or something like that is crazy, but nobody's picking it, right? I ought to do an early I ought to do an early poll and see who's actually gonna pick Xiaonan. Outside of somebody that's like a really big fan of her and that's rooting for her, that can't step out of their unbiasedness. I mean, you can't really see anybody picking her, man. James said he needs to see Weili wreck more girls before I start seeing her as a huge favorite. I mean, that's true too. Like, I think we picking Weili. I'm picking Weili mostly now because of the force that she is against some of these lower styles. But when it comes to like some of the more polished girls like Rose and Joanna, they gave her hell. They gave her a really good fight. Yeah, but yeah, I think to be like this monster, like I think she just has. Sometimes I think she has a really big fan base and it kind of blinds people. But yeah, I agree that she needs to wreck more people to be like this huge Volkanovski type favorite. That's why I can still see some people doing certain things, but like when I see like Volkanovski, who else? Who else is another champ that we could, of course, like a legend, like. mm, Wow. Let me say, like even when Usman was reigning, even like when Usman was reigning, you have to have a particular style to really do some damage to them. But like, I think Whaley's still coming into that form, because remember she hasn't gone on like this dominant streak yet. She's done some things, but she hasn't completely dominated. We just see that her wrestling and her ground game is better than Jan's, right? Yeah. Um, but yeah, before I get into that, man, let's look here at this flyweight schedule, man. Like, excuse me, strawweight schedule. The strawweight, it's still my go-to division after flyweight right now, because it's been around for years, man. It's been around for a long time, and we got to give it some credit, man. It's been around for, I think by December, the UFC women's strawweight division will have been around about 10 years. Because I think it started in 2021, right? Let me see. Hold on. The Tough House women's strawweight started, I want to say, in like September. Hold on, let me see. When did the women's strawweight division start? I know it's 2014. Because I tuned in. Yeah. Let's see. In 2014, the world was introduced to the first group of women that would be competing in the UFC's women's strawweight division. So yeah, it's been around almost 10 years. Almost 10 years now, by the second half of this year. That was let me see. Yep. Ultimate Fighter season 20. That was December 12th, 2014 when Carla won the belt. So yeah, we'll be coming up on 10 years at the end of the year, man. So yeah, strawweight been around, man, and it's crazy that some of these girls are still here. Carla, Tisha, Rose, she's still here. Uh, you know, um, I know Marina Rodriguez, she came around a little bit later, but she's still here. Andrade, of course, she started down at up at 135. She's still around. Angela Hill, Carolina, of course, Michelle Waterson. A lot of these girls are still around, man. It's crazy. They're 10 years in the game. So um, I know some people would think that it's a little bit boring, but I think you still have a lot of girls on the come up now that need to prove themselves, and that's what's making it a little bit less interesting to some people, because we don't have like same star power like before. Like even Tisha wasn't knocking people out, but she had somewhat of a it factor to her. Who else? JoJo. I was a fan of JoJo when she was at 115. So yeah, man. Still a good division, man. Still a good division. And now you got girls moving down from 125 to 115. They had to make their run because they said, you know what, flyweight's getting too sick right now, so they had to go. But let me see. So far, a few unranked fights happen, and we got two flyweights moving down. So let's see. Last week we had Molly McCann against Diana Belbita, which of course, that wasn't much to look at. Like as far as come on, it was a rematch. It was a rematch that was just like, okay, it's here. It's kind of it was a kind of a give me fight for Molly McCann. That's what it was, right? It was just a give me fight for Molly McCann to get her weight situated and kind of let her work on her ground game. That's all that was really to me. Molly McCann needed a confidence booster after getting, taken out by Stoyarenko and Aaron Blanchfield, dominant fashion. I mean, they about killed this girl. She had to move down quick or her career was going to be in jeopardy, right? So had to move down to a better weight. So far, we'll say better weight for her compared to flyweight. And this was a gimme. Diana Belbita was a gimme. That was it. It was just a gimme for her, and she just needed a confidence builder. But as far as how she looked physically, I think she looked fine. I think she looked okay. As far as her body and everything, she still had the speed, her boxing. As far as her ground skills, still early to tell. I don't think Belbita was really like this big ground threat. It was more of a test for her offensive grappling, right? So Molly, still needs to fight maybe another undefeated fighter or two. Maybe her and, like I said, at some point, her and Denise Gomes or something like that. See if she can control somebody like that and get it to the ground. Darby said they're still here and still legit contenders. Yeah, you still got some legit fighters because they built the division and they still have a lot of experience. But yeah, Molly coming down to 115. It's not really that exciting yet. I mean, I don't really see off of that one win. I don't see anything like to say she's this threat yet. It's just where she is trying to find a home, right? Also, a few weeks ago we had Jillian Robertson. Jillian Robertson, this is like her third fight now, 115. She's been looking good physically. She came up short against Ricci, but other than that, when she's getting these girls that are unranked and still don't really have that ground game or takedown defense, she's dominating. So she's trying to make some noise. She got another victory, another finish at 115. So she still needs to find her home, her place. And so far as the weight, much like Molly, she looks okay. But when it comes down to her skills, I still think one thing that might hold her back from getting to the top is that striking IQ. As that stand-up game is something she really needs to work on. G-Rob got to put them hands together, man. Put them hands together and, start to become more of a force, not just with striking on the ground, but, her stand-up, man. Her stand-up is important. I think it is, man, especially at 115. This fight this past Saturday, Loma and Bruna. I think it does say a lot about Loma, what she needs right now. And I don't really think with Loma, I can really say right now where she needs to be as far as what it is technically, because I think she's doing enough of what she has to do. I think she spoke up, and voiced her opinion, and she was right. I think that, Loma needs to be at a lower weight. I think she needs to be at atom weight. I mean, that's something we'll talk about later, but since she brought it up, I think Loma Labuni is suffering from, making it far because of the size. Because if you look at how she approaches fights, Loma's strong. She's got a good stand up. She's worked on her wrestling to the point, she's been getting more takedowns. I believe what they say she's taken down like 7 out of 8 of her opponents, her last 8 opponents. That's pretty good for her, for somebody that's a Muay Thai fighter. That's more with her stand-up game. So I think, Loma she could be a force, but again, she has to kind of make certain adjustments to her style where she has to play it safe against bigger fighters, if that makes sense. Her and Carla Esparza, they're kind of in the same boat. Six, what's up, man? I think they're kind of in the same boat. I think, see, Carla has more of a wrestling base. That's why she got further, because she could take girls down and she was stronger there. But, with Loma, early in her career, not much of a wrestler like that. She had to, slow it down and pick her shots. I think she did well against Bruna, somebody that was long and that tall. But, as she moves up, it's going to get harder for her. So I think with the way she's fighting, it's not like she's trying to be boring. She's trying to be more safe when you're dealing with bigger fighters. So I think to see a more dominant Loma, she's got to be in a lower weight. I think that's where you'll see her take off more. Like, she won't think of size or fighters being too big for her, or, her getting crowded and being out muscled. You'll see Loma, you project more of that. Even like, I mean, when you see her kicks, she's always throwing them vicious kicks. She'll throw with bad intentions, but she has to go right back into safe mode sometimes. So I think that, Loma does need to be at 105. There's a few girls that can be at 105. I think Tabitha Ricci maybe. Maybe even Carla at some point. I don't know now that she had a baby, but if she wanted to finish off her career at 105, but there's a lot of girls outside of the UFC. There's a lot of girls outside of the UFC that I think do have that type of they have the skills now. They have that hit factor about them, whether you could go ahead and sign them now, because everybody's looking for atomweight division, So yeah, Loma, good fighter. This past weekend, I thought she won all 3 rounds. Honestly, I know they had a 29-28. Bruna, big long strawweight. I just don't think she's ready for I don't think she's ready for this scene yet. She was holding back too much in this fight, because if she's getting pieced up and outworked by somebody this small that we saying should be an atom weight, I think Bruna still has a long way to go. So she had a good showing in the Contender Series. I was looking at her, I was like, okay, maybe if she knows how to use that length, maybe she could be like another Marina Rodriguez, maybe even stronger, because she has a little bit of weight to her. But nah, man, like, she kind of holds back too much, not letting that jab go, not using that length, and she suffered for it, man. So to me, I think that you might see, yeah, she's 1-2 now, right? Well, wait, let me see. She beat that Xiaonan Bannon. She lost to Denise Gomes, and now she lost to Loma. Yeah, she's 1-2 now. Yeah, she's like 1-2. So I think she might, if she loses one more, she might get cut. Let me put it that way. She might get cut. But if she holds on and wins another fight, that might keep her around to get some more work in. But even then, I don't think it's going to be enough to catch up and be top 15, because with somebody her length and size, I think she's holding back too much. Let me see. Brian said Brazil didn't jab once. Yeah, I mean, that was a big letdown. With somebody that long, not even throwing enough side kicks or even calf kicks. I mean, she was getting her lead leg was getting ripped. That wasn't a good game plan for somebody that big, So I think, Loma, she's got decent skills, but it's just the fact that she's fighting bigger fighters that kind of slow her down. Easy said, I don't see Loma being a contender though. She was always going to be a mid carder. I think if she moves down to atom weight, I think you might see her as a contender there. If she moves down, she'll be a contender, I think. Like atom weight, contender. Straw weight, not so much, because bigger girls, bigger, stronger girls, they'll control her. All right. 6 said these WMMA fighters are now marketing these stories more now before and utilizing social media to build their brand thanks to Weili's team. He said, prove me wrong. Well, a lot of girls have been doing that too. Joanna, she's been building her brand. Like she's been utilized. I mean, a girl got a book too. A girl like Joanna, she been around for a minute. What is her name? Rose already has her fan base. So, Weili's got her fan base, but I know Joanna, she been on the map. She been around before. So I gotta say she's the one, that she's the one been putting in that work. Putting that work. She opened that door for a lot of the women, right? All right. So yeah, Jillian Robertson, we'll see what's gonna happen with her. I think it's her skills, or I think with Loma, it's more size with her. All right. But let's take a look at this schedule coming up, this strawweight schedule. Let me look at some comments before I jump over here. 6 said Rose started her Thug Diaries. Yeah, she started that a little while back. I used to check it out on the YouTube channel. I will say the one thing about Weili I enjoy about her IG is her training. It's very training based, more so than just crazy stuff. Darby said, "Have I talked about Lemos Dern?" No, we talking about that now. I'm going in order for the next 4 or 5 months. I just pulled up the schedule. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna pull up right here, because that's what we got this weekend coming up. This is what, UFC 299. Let me see, Saturday, February 17th, man. Yeah, we moving right along this month, man. Let me see. Yeah, this is the first fight on this schedule I want to talk about that hasn't happened yet. This is 298. 298. Sorry, 298, the Volkanovski Topuria card. Oh, man. This fight here, Amanda Lemos and Mackenzie Dern. Amanda Lemos and Mackenzie Dern. We're gonna dub this Andrade's daughters. I'm just playing, but it's not like I'm lying. We got Lemos versus Dern, Andrade's daughters. And when I mean daughters, I mean she daughtered them. I mean she put in that work. I mean, on both of them. Okay, so you almost seen like a vintage Andrade on both of these girls, just because their styles played into it. But what you can take away from both of their losses from Andrade, I'll say this real quick, is you can definitely take away that the fact is IQs are kind of low. IQs are kind of low. They made some bad choices, very bad choices. I mean, the way they ended, especially when you have like 10 to 12 blueprints on how to beat Jessica Andrade. Amanda Lemos, got the power and striking, right? And even with Mackenzie Dern, who's had a long time coach in Jason Perillo. Okay, yeah. Darby said he hopes that she's gone back. I don't know if she did go back to Jason Perillo though. She had him for a while. I thought that she picked up enough basic skills, basic fundamentals to beat Andrade, but no, man. She struggled with her. She came in with this gung-ho type of fighting style, led with her chin. At least, Lemos, hers was kind of like a freak submission. Like, nobody really gets submitted that way. But even with Lemos, she wasn't utilizing footwork either. So she got caught quick by Andrade. She got in that hole quick and got choked, standing choke. But, with Dern, the way she was moving, I think, she had the chance to do a little bit more. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like, you see the difference in IQs in some of these fighters. That's why I give a lot of credit to Aaron Blanchfield, because Aaron knows how to change and adjust on the fly. So far in her fights, Aaron has been adjusting. She adjusts in the fight. She came from the jiu-jitsu background, grappling background, but she utilized her hand game in each fight. She's been stepping it up. Even her movement. She'll slow the pace down, pick her shots. Of course, defense is still a problem, but that's with most of these girls. But Mackenzie Dern, like, with what she's been learning too, you would think she should have been catching up with. She should have been catching up with Aaron Blanchfield, especially with the coach that she has. So, um, they both, I think, can do so much better. But I think that's the one that's been just holding them back, is that IQ. Six said he sees Lemos laying Dern out in this one. That I don't know, man. Like, what you think? Y'all think that might happen again, man? Like, Mackenzie Dern, she is coming back awfully quick. I mean, she's coming back awfully quick. I'm basing that off of what happened in the last fight. The last fight, she was getting tore up, and she was taking some big shots. And the comeback, let me see, that fight was in November, right? December, January, February. She coming back like about 3 months later against another puncher. Little soon for her. Little soon for her, I think, because that fight was strictly punches. It wasn't like she was fighting somebody that was clinching and wrestling with her. And it showed me that she needs to work. She's got to work on defense. And now she's going right back in here with another puncher, right? So to me, I think that it's a little soon for Mackenzie. But, she's stepping in for Tatiana Suarez. Maybe she said, I want this money. Maybe, she still needs the money. She probably still needs that money, because that was one of the things she was talking about in the Angela Hill fight, the divorce and everything. Her and Andrade both were dealing with it. Let me see. Brian said, Lemos could probably KO Dern, but Dern has a chin, so she's got to have she's going to have to hit her a bunch of times. Okay. Yeah, Dern's definitely got a good chin, man. But I just think, man, like, coming back this soon, I wonder how much has been taken off that chin, man. Like, how much has been taken off of that chin for taking them big shots? Because Andrade was putting full force in him. And I'll say this too, like, Andrade didn't even have to put full force back, actually, because Dern was running into punches. And if we look at this fight, man, the Lemos, that's all she got to do. Let her set them traps and she'll run right into some punches. So when you look at what happened in the last fight, this should be a fight that Lemos wins. But then you got to look at Lemos, man. You got to look at Lemos. Lemos barely had enough time off. She's been out since the summer, August. And that's normal about 6 months. So that gave her a lot of time to kind of, like I said, keep working on that pacing with her striking and stop looking for big punches. Even working on her takedown defense, because even though her jiu-jitsu is okay, I still don't think it's wise for her to spend too much time on her back on the ground with Dern. Dern has got physically stronger. She just still doesn't really work with that wrestling like that. Easy said, this is what happens when a grappler falls in love with their hands. It never fails. Yeah. And the thing is, like, she really falls in love with her hands. Like, Dern fell in love with it. I think Aaron, she likes it because she doesn't mind hurting people, but she doesn't overdo it. That's the difference between her and Aaron. Like, Aaron worked on her stand-up game to a point. It works for her, and they work together. That's all it is. But Dern is falling in love with trying to knock people out, and she just ain't got the fundamentals to knock people out. She don't have the patience. Let me put it that way. Dern don't have the patience. She don't have the patience. She think a knockout's gonna come. Yeah, Six says she don't have knockout power. No, she has solid hands, and her connections are nice and strong, but she don't have knockout power. I mean, if she maybe set up her punches, she probably knocks some girls out, but it's not like thudding power, Yeah, Ravioli said Aaron is truly well rounded. Right. Yeah. You got to be well rounded. You got to be there's got to be a balance. There's got to be a balance. You just can't run and start doing this and thinking you're the best at it or overdoing it. You got to incorporate it. So, early look, I think Lemos, she has the ability to set traps, use her footwork a little bit more. Okay. James said Aaron ain't that special on the feet. That's the thing. She's not. She's not this great striker, but her striking works. That's the point. Like, she's not special and she's not trying to be. She's not trying to be special. Like, Aaron is just trying to win. And that's what you got to do. Like, she's not the best. She's not trying to be the best striker. She's a good striker. That's what you have to do to win. But Lemos, I think Lemos, there should really be no reason that she loses to me. Like, Marina Rodriguez is able to beat her 5 rounds. Lemos, game plan is there. You got the power. You've seen how easy it is for Dern to be hit. If Lemos gets taken down in this fight and gets kept there and gets drowned, it's her own fault. Really, it's going to be her own fault. I mean, anytime somebody loses, it is their own fault. But in this situation, there really is no reason for Lemos to lose. I think she has more experience. And if she slows it down, her hand game can be way more effective. But Dern really needs to work on her wrestling. Like, that's her big game. That's her big hole in her game is wrestling. Like, she's big, she's strong for the division, but she just doesn't know how to be that much of a physical fighter. She just lays on you too much on the cage, and everybody she's fought find that way out. But this is a good fight to keep him afloat. I don't see this thing being a title eliminator at all. To me, I don't. I think winner fights Tatiana Suarez. How does that sound? Whoever wins this fight, Tatiana can get back in there with later this year. That would be fine with me. That would be cool with me. 6 at Lemos has knockout power. Yeah, she has knockout power for sure. Let's see. Zama said Aaron's got active footwork. She's in and out, got awkward rhythm to her, solid jab, can lead and counter. Do not underestimate her striking. How many times have I told people that? I'm surprised everybody's seeing it now. I was like, if you look at what this girl is doing, like, you think it looks bad, but it's good. It's good. I've been telling y'all, it looks good. It looks good. But no, y'all said her hands look bad. Now y'all see what I'm talking about. Dern approaches every fight like a grappling match and experiences with her striking here and there. Sometimes she approaches it like a brawl. She just comes running in there and just brawling, man. Yeah. All right. So this Saturday coming up, Lemos Dern. Early look. I got Lemos, but I think it is 50-50 because sometimes one or the other kind of disappoints. Somebody's going to disappoint in this fight. Let me just put it that way. Let me see. February 24th, next weekend. Oh, yeah, we got this fight. Yeah, it should be good. Sam Hughes and Yasmin Jauregui. This should be a good fight. How many years has Sam been in the UFC now? Let's see. 3. Hold on. Sammy Jauregui. Yeah. She's been in the UFC December 2020, about 3 full years. And she is, let's see. Okay, Sam Hughes. All right. 3-4. 3-4 in the UFC. And some of her fights. Hold on. That is the UFC. Hold on. Who is this? Oh, okay. Wow. They put Loma's other name. That's why I was wondering who that was on Sam's resume. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, Sam's been in the UFC about 3 years now. She's 3-4 in the UFC. And some of the fights you could argue that she won too, That Pieta fight was close. Lana Pinheiro was a close fight. Loma, she lost that fight, I think, but she started to pick up her rhythm in the end of the fight. The Tisha Torres fight, that was kind of like a big jump for her. Had some eye damage in that fight, but I think Sam Hughes has been pretty. I think she's been pretty humble and pretty just honest about how she's working and how she's getting just really getting into the mix. She's really been getting into the mix and just starting to put things together. Especially when she got with a better team for since she moved to a better team, they kind of been building up her confidence, and you see she's utilizing different things in fights now, like her wrestling against strikers. She strikes against some wrestlers. Um, I think it was more of a thing with Sam of just believing more in herself and letting her hands go a little bit more, and even like using that wrestling base that she's always had. Yasmin, on the other hand, I still think highly of Yasmin. Like with what I've seen from her in like some of her other fights, I think much like every WMMA fighter, I'm gonna say is her lack of defense. That's always a problem with these girls. I think leading with their face and leading with their chin is always like top priority for these girls. Like they want to come in and put on action fights, but you can't do that. You just can't do that against some of these girls that fight. Like Denise Gomes, you just can't run in there like that. I mean, knockout in 19 seconds. Come on, like no defense at all. Like no defense, but really just bad decision making in that type of fight. Like you're dealing with a puncher, but you think that puncher wants to just put on a show? Nah, they're gonna come in there and knock you out. So sometimes getting knocked out like that in the first round, it can be kind of be a crusher. It can kind of be a confidence killer with some fighters. But I think with the time off she's had, she's been out since that fight that was back in the summer, like what, July? July 5, 6, 7. So she's been out about 7 months. That gives her time to kind of mentally recover and just kind of pace her game out. I think with her hand game and her striking, I think that some of the things that she's doing is fine. I've always thought that, like, Yasmin Harry, some of the things she's doing is fine, but the approach she's taking in the UFC now, like always trying to trade, even like with Yasmin Lucindo and even Estela Nunes. I think Estela Nunes rocked her, I believe, right? She stopped Estela Nunes, but I think Estela Nunes had rocked her in a fight too. She's kind of taking that show type of style. Darby said what went wrong in her last fight. For Yasmin, it was running straight in. She ran straight in and ate a big right hand. She wanted to trade, and that was a no-no against Denise Gomes. That's what really went wrong. Hands. Hands not really covering her chin, but just trying to go in a close quarter battle instead of utilizing her reach. And I've seen her fights in the past where she fights from the outside and, she's using combinations. She's a better fighter. She has good takedown defense too. She's better than that. But she's been doing a lot of like shows in the UFC. Like Yasmin Lucinda was a close fight. Estela, she knocked out, but again, she got rocked in that fight. So defense is her big problem, I think. And Zama said it's going to be a rough fight for Sam. It could be. But I think Sam has the fundamentals in this one. I think she's got the more technical approach where her long jab, it could shut down those combinations. Or if the combinations come too fast, you might see Sam take her to the ground. We still haven't really seen Yasmin's ground game. We haven't had a chance to really see it in the UFC. Never really had to go there. But I think that, Yasmin, I think she's a good fighter. I never really said like she was gonna be top 10 or anything like that, but what she was doing was promising. But taking this type of approach, like Mackenzie Dern, just running in there, that's gonna be a downfall. That's gonna be her downfall. Sam's got more experience. I think she's utilized more tools in her career. I lean more towards her in this fight. It's gonna be a tough one. I think Sam's gonna have to be on her game as far as taking away the work rate of Yasmin. And I think for Yasmin, she's gonna have to start fast. Sometimes Fam starts a little slow. That's where somebody like Yasmin can pick it up, has a little bit more power. When she's got the gas tank to go the distance. She's got the gas tank to go the distance. Zama said Yasmin's too athletic for Sam. Sam doesn't have enough power to stop her. Yeah, Yasmin is athletic. That's the thing. Like, she has athleticism, but what about the technique? You know what I mean? Like, that technique and lack of defense has kind of been her downfall. She depends too much on speed sometimes. I think she has like the ability to be more like Joanna a little bit, but sometimes she just likes to run straight in. She'll run straight in, and she could run into a choke. She could run into a choke too, because Sam's got some submissions on her game too, under her belt too. I don't really see Yasmin overwhelming. Like, I don't think she's gonna take that type of approach like she's had in the past. I think she's gonna slow it down. So I favor Sam a little bit more in this one, just because of her skill sets. I mean, just off of what she's done, and then how I've seen Yasmin take approaches in her fights. Because again, when I look at resume, like, Sam has really had some close fights. She's had some close losses. She's won her fights, and then the fights that she's lost, they were all kind of close. Yasmin, she's kind of set herself up. She kind of set herself up in these last few fights in the UFC. But we'll see, man. It should be good. It should be good. Yeah, I wonder that too, if she might be a little gun shy after that knockout. I hope she's not. I hope she's more wise to, the game and counter punches now and slows it down. But I don't want her to be gun shy. I just hope she's not. All right. So let's see. Next strawweight fight we got is March 2nd, the following weekend. Josephine Knudsen versus Julia. Is that Pelostri? Yeah, I've seen Pelostri fight before. This is her debut. Hold on. Julia Pelostri and Josephine Knudsen. Josephine Knudsen is currently undefeated. She had won her fight in the Contender Series. And Julia Pelostri, also a Contender Series fighter. She's making her debut March 2nd. This should be an interesting fight. Josephine Knudsen, Muay Thai background, aggressive, strong. You would think somebody like her would score more knockouts, but I'm surprised. Like, she doesn't have a lot of knockouts, and doesn't really have the knockout power. She has more of like an overwhelming style, and higher work rate and strength that kind of controls fighters. But Josephine Knudsen is not really like this knockout artist. I mean, last person she knocked out, I think, was almost 3 years ago, out of the UFC. But there's still like there's still a level of excitement with her. I like her fights. I still like what she's doing. She won her UFC debut pretty, open and shut. I know some people were, like the commentators, they weren't really a fan of it because the knockout was there. But again, like, she's not really like this knockout artist. Like, I mean, yeah, you could take it if you see it, and that does kind of upset people sometimes. But I thought she did what she had to do. Like, I don't get too hung up on knockouts, especially when somebody is still putting in the effort and they're not necessarily like running. Like, it wasn't like she was like overly cautious. She was still in there fighting hard. Who'd she fight? Marnik Man? Yeah. So I was still cool with it. But this girl, Julia Pelostri, she's got to be careful with this one. This girl, she's got a submission game. I believe she submitted maybe like 1 or 2 people in her career. I've seen, her Contender Series fight was a submission, and LFA, yeah, that's where I seen her. Yeah, she got a quick submission in that, and she's got some power in her hands, so I know she's gonna be bringing some excitement. She's knocked out, what's her name, Jessica Del Boni in her career too, who's really atom weight. She's fought high too, man. She's fought at flyweight, because she fought Jasmine Jazzy Vicious in Contender Series and lost that time. And then she came back last year and won when she moved down to 115, which was smart. So this girl, she's durable, she's strong. I think this fight should be pretty exciting. Yeah, I think that when you put these two type of contrasting styles, one that can brawl a little bit, one that can grapple, versus a strong Muay Thai fighter with takedown defense, it should be interesting. Yeah, Josephine Nelson's still undefeated too, so I think that's one thing that kind of keeps her going is to have that smart approach, more of a technical approach. Trying to be careful in there. Yeah, March 2nd. Definitely going to tune into that one. Let me see. Yeah, Paul. Okay, Paul, you're a fan of Josephine, right? He's excited to see her again. Yeah, I am too. Robot Chicken said, "Love you, calm. I'll keep you in my prayers, man. I'll keep praying for Jean's mom too. I appreciate that, man." All right, let's see here. Who else we got? March 2nd. Marcus Bell said the women's bantamweight division is getting towards to becoming the bantam sleep division. Yeah, it is, man. Bantamweights, they really need something. They really need something right now. I'm gonna just say that. I know what it is, but I don't know where they're gonna get it. Let me put it that way. All right, March 16th, we got. Oh, look who's back. Look who's coming back March 16th. Corey McKenna. Corey McKenna's back, y'all. Corey McKenna is coming back. Training partner with Macy Barber. She'll be back in the house March 16th against Jacqueline Amram. All right, Jacqueline Amram. Corey McKenna, when was her last fight? Let's see. Corey Poppins. Let's see. It has been December 2022 when she beat Cheyenne Valismus. Before that, she beat Miranda Granger. 2022. It's been over a year and some change, man. She's been out on an injury. So, looking at her resume, Corey McKenna is 3-1 in the UFC. Close fight against Elise Reed. Arguably, you could say she was 4-0. Some people say she's 4-0. Corey McKenna, I think, she's got some well-rounded skills. I like the fact that, she can strike a little bit, not afraid to go to the ground, good wrestling base, especially working with Uriah Faber now, that's kind of polishing her up, even though she's already kind of had it. Yeah, it's strong for her age too, kind of, really tough for her age, I believe she's 20. Girl came into the game young. Hold on. I believe she's 20, right? 24. Yeah, she's already 24 now, but she came into the game, she was kind of tough, kind of fighting at a high level already as far as her confidence, so I look at her as a good, well-rounded fighter, and this is a good comeback for her. She's dealing with a dangerous submission artist, but I think it's a winnable fight for her. Amram coming off a victory over, what is her name? Ruiz? Yeah, Ruiz. Before that, she got drowned by Sam Hughes. And I had to go with Sam in that fight too, because, Jacqueline Amram to me is a good finisher, but that was on that lower level. And the Sam Hughes fight was the first time she had gone the distance. That was the first time she ever gone 3 rounds or outside of 1 round. Before that, she was always finishing girls, 1 round. That was all she had to go. But then, so when she stepped it up, she got taken to the distance. All right. Yeah, Zama said he got McKenna. Yeah, I lean towards McKenna in this one. He's capable of replicating what Sam did, pretty much. Take her into deep waters and keep her on her back, neutralizing that guard, ground and pound. Jacqueline Amram has been trying to work on her hand game a little bit more, but I think Corey McKenna's hand game is a couple of levels above her. Jacqueline got some size to her, though. She's got a little bit of size to her. Took her a while to get Ruiz out, though. Ruiz is small. So I'm still kind of looking at where Amram stands as far as being able to be physical, like really physical against these these strawweights in the UFC, but should be interesting. Yeah, early look, I got Corey. I got Corey early on. Let's see, March 30th. March 30th. This should be a good fight. This is on the Manone and Aaron card, y'all. I'm kind of hyped for this one too. I'm kind of hyped for this. I would have been a little bit more hyped if it was Verna versus Tatiana. I ain't gonna lie, but this is a big test for Lupi right here. We got Verna Jandiroba and Lupi Godinez. Who looking forward to this fight? I'm looking forward to it. It's on a good card too, so this is a good prelim fight to open up before the main event too. Verna, y'all know, was originally going to take on Tatiana Suarez, and that was going to be a good fight for Tatiana to come back against, somebody that was tough and legit. But Verna had to step out because of her knee. But Lupi called her out, and they gave her Lupi. I was hoping that they were going to give Verna Tatiana, though, man. Maybe just push it back a little bit and still make the fight. But Verna heard the call out, and I guess she said, I'm ready to go, man. So shout out to Lupi. I mean, she called out. She made a call out. She's kind of been going for anybody now. Like, she's been trying to fight anybody. I mean, in 3 years, I believe she fought like 9 fights. She's been one of the more active WMMA fighters Lupi has. So at number 10, she won a top 5 girl. And if she could do it, she'll be in that top 5, because that's about as high as I said she would go. Like, I'm not going to say she's fighting for the belt. Like, not saying she's a bad fighter or anything, but I'm just saying that off of what I've seen Lupi do, I did say that I see her getting the top 10, maybe possibly top 5. I could see her getting there in the top 5, man, because she has, like, the thing that holds her back from me ever seeing her get like the actual belt, which you never know how this game goes. Get placed at the right time, you can get the belt. But there's just some things I've seen that, much like some of the other girls, just bad choices. Bad choices have kind of made her kind of fall back in certain fights. Like, she's got athleticism, she's strong and she can box and she can wrestle, but she's made, some couple of bad choices in fights where it cost her a victory. Like, even against Angela Hill, spending too much time on the feet. Let me see who else. And maybe even taking fights that she shouldn't have taken early, like Luana Carolina, taking fights like that. Those are kind of some of the fights that where she maybe should have been training and focused on more, just polishing up. That's maybe what slowed her, her roll down of like getting just better. But I think she has some good, well-rounded skills. But Verna is also getting better, I think, for where she stands. She's a big strawweight, and her hand game has improved throughout the years. I still think she beat Dern. I mean, not too many people agree with me on that, but I think Verna Jandiroba did beat Mackenzie Dern that night. I thought she threw better hands. I thought her overall movement was better. But anyways, submission game, jiu-jitsu, I think it all goes to Verna. I think it comes down to her takedowns, strength. She's gotten kind of a little bit bigger. They list her at 5'3", but I don't know, man. Verna be looking like she's 5'4", 5'5" almost. Of course, age isn't really on her side either. Now she's 35. She had the knee injury. We'll see if that aggression from Lupi is there in this fight. She had the good takedown defense in this fight, submission defense. Lupi's about what, 5? I know she's 5'3". Lupi got to be shorter than that. Yeah, Lupi's about 5'2". So I don't know, man. Verna's got the experience here. Lupi has got the work rate, I think, when it comes to her boxing. She can touch the chin. But who sticks more to their game plan? That's kind of like the question for me. Like, who sticks to more of a game plan? Well, I've seen I have to say I've seen Verna do that a little bit more. Brian said this should be good. I gotta go with my girl Lupi. Verna don't have that dog. Yeah, Verna isn't really like a gritty dog fighter, but I think she sticks to a game plan. I think she does stick to a game plan of committing to win. Carla did. Carla did okay though. Carla did okay against Vernon. When I go back and look at that fight, it was close, but Carla did okay. So I don't know, man. Like Loopy has a chance, man. Darby said big step up for Verna. Yeah, big step up for Loopy too. Big step up. You mean big step up for Loopy, right? Because Verna's fought high level, right? Verna's fought Marina, Angela, Carla, Dern. Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah. Okay, Darby, you said you meant because I was gonna say like Verna's already fought some of the top dogs, like former champions. So, yeah, I got you. All right, so yeah, this is gonna be a good one. I'm looking forward to this. I am skill set wise. They both have certain things that I think could pull this thing out. I'm kind of looking at Loopy. Here. Kind of looking at Loopy because of the activity and just her work rate here might be a problem. But you never know, man. Not Mackenzie, but Verna might touch that nose. That's the thing, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm not exposing anything. I mean, people see it, and we all see it over here. I'm just saying, like, when Loopy gets touched on the nose, sometimes that can kind of disrupt the breathing a little bit. So it's important. Her defense is a little bit more polished. So I'm saying, what I'm saying about every single fighter is defense. It's got to be defense problem, right? Defense must be a problem here. Okay, y'all. That's all the fights in March. The strawweights, got about one every weekend almost, one every 2 weekends. Yeah, once every 2 weeks. But let's see, April 6th. Oh, okay. I know y'all ain't gonna get mad at me, but I know y'all gonna be like, oh man, what's she still doing here? April 6th. April 6th, y'all. This is going down. Most of y'all want to see this more. Y'all want to see this more than Verna and Loopy, right? Oh man. Okay, Brian said Loopy's gonna. Oh yeah, Loopy's gonna get hit. Yeah, she's gonna get hit, and that's gonna compromise her breathing though. If she takes some things square in the nose too much. Zama says 65-35 for Verna. Not convinced she even loses the striking part. Okay. Good long right hand from her, so we'll see. Cynthia Calvillo, Piedra Rodriguez. I know most of y'all are asking, Calvillo still here? That's the question most of y'all have. Cynthia Calvillo is still here, man. Like, she's been under like a, what do you call the contract? Because I remember like that last fight was supposed to be her last fight. And then the last fight was going to be her last fight. And the fight before that was going to be her last fight. And then the last two were supposed to be her last fight. And then they brought her back. They brought her back in the house. Their other fight got canceled and they brought her back. Oh man, like Calvillo, man, I like Calvillo though, man. I like her, man. Like, I just can't. I just don't understand, like, man, like where she fits right now. I don't know where she fits in the game right now. Like, there was a time, man, whenever, I was like, okay, she might be on to something. She's winning fights. She's looking okay. But somewhere along the lines when things kind of got mixed up with the weight, she was having a hard time making strawweight. And she felt like she needed to move up. That's kind of where I was like, uh-oh. And then there was times where she was becoming more of a boxer. I know y'all noticed that. He said, yeah, she went from sugar. Right. Yeah. I mean, yes, honestly, I mean, it really was a change. Like, it was again, bad decision making, I think, on styles. What she's been doing in the cage. Like she started off being more gritty and like more of a wrestler, and into her grappling like in her early career before the UFC. But then she started boxing more, and nothing's wrong with her boxing, like as far as like that being her secondary type of tool. But there's just been too many fights where she's been feeling it too much and she's just been losing. And I hate to pull up the resume, but here it is. 5-fight losing streak. Man, 5-fight losing streak. Hasn't had a win in almost 4 years. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. She went up to flyweight, and the flyweight was a disaster, man. Like I really wanted her to stay at strawweight too. Like when I saw her physique, I was like, I don't think she's a strawweight. I really don't like. No, I don't think she's a flyweight at all. She believed she was a flyweight, but I was like, no, like she's a strawweight. She just needs to make sure that she's ready and disciplined. Because I think if Jillian Robinson and Molly McCann, they can make 115. Calvillo, to me, she can definitely be 115. And since then, she's been there back at 115. Her last 2 fights were 115, right? Because when she tried to do, but even though she did lose, though, she still lost. But I think weight and discipline was like a big part of why she was losing. But yeah, when she did the flyweight thing, man, I think that's what really took her out. Like she was able to beat Jessica I, then got outboxed by Chikagan, and got destroyed by Andrade. I remember even after the Andrade fight, she was like, "Oh man, that fight was too much." She called Andrade out after the fight. She was like, "Yeah, when she got hit by Andrade, she said reality hit her." She literally said like it hit her, like reality hit her, and she realized like what she was up against. She admitted that she bit off more than she could chew in that fight. I don't know what I was thinking. Some of y'all, we almost thought Cavill was gonna win that Andrade fight, but I was like, no way, man. Let me get back to reality, man. We always gonna have fun with that one. But Easy said she was literally the next big thing. I mean, riding private jets with Dana and everything. She was in. Yeah, she was in, man. She was in there. She had the star power, I think, but I think discipline. Yeah, James Lee made Cavill quit that fight. Like she was getting hit up around the eye. She drew some blood on Andrea Lee too. She drew some blood. She drew some blood on Andrea Lee, but she got cut up around the eye, man. Yeah, she started getting cut up. I think, she she made her quit. Darby says that's Cynthia Cavill. Yeah, that's her. Yep, that's her. So yeah, we got her coming back off of a 5-fight losing streak here. She's gonna be taking on Pierre Rodriguez. Lost her last fight back in April. So this is about a year layoff. Almost a year layoff for Rodriguez. Guess maybe she was just taking some time off, but she just needed some breathing room, I guess. After losing to Jillian Robertson. So dang, Jillian Robertson already been in 115 for almost a year. Going on a year and 2 months. But Pierre Rodriguez, she was never, to me, like, there wasn't really anything that stood out to me about her. Like, she's got different skills, but she's never really stood out to me. I was like, she can do this, okay. She brawls a little bit. She has decent wrestling for who she's fighting. But whenever I seen Jillian Robertson get her and be able to take her out the way she did, she got her back in that fight, right? Rear naked choke. Or no, it was an armbar. It was an armbar in that fight. That was where I was kind of like, yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, she's okay, but it's just nothing that stands out. But I think she might have enough to get the victory over Cynthia Cavill in this fight. I just think mentally, we got to look at the young fighter here that's on the come up, pretty durable. But if Cavill could just take her time to take the time to resort back to her old ways, going to the ground, it could be her fight. But I don't know if she still has that in her, man. So we just got to see how this one plays out, because I don't really know, what type of uh, goals Calvillo set at this point. Like, is she trying to come back hard? I don't know, but we'll see, man. I don't want to spend too much time on that one and give that with, like this big thing or anything. But anyways, UFC 300, we got 2 strawweight fights. Y'all know what it is. April 13th, Andrade and Marina Rodriguez. And this fight, it had to happen. I didn't ever think it would, because, well, never say never, but for the most part, Marina said that they weren't going to make this fight until it was a title fight. But I think they realized that both of these fighters have fought everybody, and they're both kind of far off from a title shot right now. But Rodriguez, I won't say she's like all the way at the bottom, like she's this far off or anything. But Andrade kind of is. But pickings are slim for both of them right now, so they just had to make this fight. They had to make this fight. In my opinion, this is a good one. I think this fight doesn't go. This fight here shouldn't go the distance. This one here shouldn't go the distance. But I see people saying this is a bad matchup. Even like casual fans, like, I think it's a decent fight. I mean, I would have rather seen Andrade Rose on the 300 card and maybe give Marina somebody else. But I don't really see this as being like this bad fight, man. Like, that just shows you how casual fans can be. Like, you're going to miss a good fight when you see these two. Like, Marina is an exciting fighter. Andrade, they just don't understand. Andrade, like, what bad fight has she been in? Where she's getting laid out, she's laying you out. Like, to me, that's why I don't put too much in with the casual fans. I'm just saying, like, to say this would be a bad 300. No, this isn't a boring fight for 300. This is a good fight. It's an exciting fight. You put two exciting fighters together that can knock people out, have that type of power, or they can be on the receiving end. It's a good fight. Yeah, they both beat Dern. So yeah, now we got this fight. This one is they share custody. They share custody with Mackenzie Dern. This is Mackenzie Dern's mom's right here. Joint custody with her. Calvillo likes to smoke. Oh yeah, Calvillo do smoke. She got to lay off that. I know G-Rob, she likes to get blowed too, man. She like to. You gotta lay off some of that, man. Moonlight said, I love this fight. Someone is going to sleep for sure. Both forward fighters. Yeah. And Marina, like, is not big in the like physical department with the strength here. So, seeing her being able to just kind of move back and line up that right hand, it already kind of sets up different scenarios. Like, Andrade might get caught with a big right hand like she did against Xiaonan. Andrade might close the distance and, try to lock in a body shot or lock in a choke. So these long, tall fighters, they have to be weary of Andrade's body punching or power. Marina, she's got the ability to score a knockout here. I think she has the ability to do it. She's got the technique and the skills where she could score one. But Andrade, never sleep on her. Never sit still against Andrade. So that should be a good fight. It'll be good. It's on the prelims here. But the big one everybody's looking at, UFC 300. I think this is the main event now. Weili versus Xiaonan. I think, yeah. Were they going to put another one ahead of this? Like, were they going to put another title fight ahead? Or is this finally the main event? So, yeah, this is going to be Weili's second title defense. And we were talking about this earlier, kind of going back to what we were saying earlier. I do see this fight as, when you rank it out of a 10 as far as what James asked me. I think it is one of the higher upsets up there. Like if Jan pulled it off, I'd say it would be on a scale of like an 8.5. Because yeah, I don't really see many people even making that. They, outside of me, nobody's really seeing. They see that little scenario where, oh, Weili gonna be winning the fight, but Jan might be able to do this. Nobody's really giving Jan enough credit, even with her footwork here, even like her right hand. So yeah, it kind of would be that big of an upset though, especially when everybody's seen how Carla handled her before, a couple years ago. So yeah, Moonlight said main event. Yeah, it looks like the main event. It looks like the main event. Yeah. James said, "Why are you going off what people are saying? I'm asking your opinion." I gave you my opinion. Didn't I give you my opinion earlier? Come on now. I gave it an 8. You gave it a 7. You asked me and I said an 8. And you're using my opinion, actually, James. Come on now. Ravioli said Marina froze from Lemos power. Yeah. Yeah, it is the main event. They got it down as the main event. Yeah, there's no other fight. I mean, they're not going to do Chandler McGregor, right? They're not going to do Chandler McGregor. Jay said you started with between 7 and 8. Yeah, because it's you just asked me an on the fly question, so I got to think about it. It's not like I've been sitting here thinking about it. It's just like a quick question you asked me. So, I mean, really, who cares, right? I mean, I really don't care. I mean, that's not what I came here to talk about anyway. I mean, I was telling you about the fact that I think she's able to do this versus what other people have said. What I say she's able to do is utilize maybe her footwork here. Okay. And maybe catch her with the right hand. And I'm like the only person saying that. So when I think about it, I'm the only person that's making that play out. So the upset goes up higher, right? Y'all think y'all think too much. Y'all try to think. Y'all overthink. Y'all overthink too much. Come on now. It's pretty simple what I said. Anyways, Weili and Jan being a title fight. Being a main event. I have no issue with it, but I would have loved to see Edwards and I would like to see Edwards and Bilal on this card. I would have liked to see Edwards and Bilal on this card as a main event. But like I said, they're not going to do Chandler McGregor. Dana already said that's going to be like later on in the year. Okay. That's going to be later on in the year. So you don't have to, nobody even trying to talk that fight up. All right. But with this one being close to, I mean, this is good. This is good representation for WMMA. If they get the main event, oh well, I think, with Weili bringing that star power, people tune in. Got no choice now. I'm sure Dana's trying to find something. He's trying to find something to top this because he knows that demographic out there is not going to take this. He knows that they're not going to take it. Easy said UFC 300's turned into a fight night. No, it's got some good fights on here, man. I think it could have been better. They definitely could have been better, but I know what you mean, though, man. Like, it's kind of fight nightish when you got Kayla and Holly on there because Holly is, Kayla Harrison is not pay-per-view material like that. She is not. But yeah, if they do a main event here with the women, that will be crazy. That's good representation. I can't really argue it. I'm not gonna say, oh, like it's a bad thing. Especially whenever everybody else is already taken or they're going to be on other schedules, and this turns out to be it. That's fine. Because you think about it, at least Weili's been more active than Conor McGregor has, right? Weili's already been working and trying to stay consistent. Even Xiaonan has had her a couple of fights too. You know, she wants this fight. So if it turns out to be the main event, I'm cool with that. But yeah, this one here, early on, you got to look at what Weili's been doing, and with Weili's improvements in the right places, this could be another title defense for her. But with what Yan Xiaonan possesses, and if she keeps watching the footage, she should be able to make something work for herself in this fight. Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane should be main event. That's a good fight. That's good. You know, heavyweights, got to put the heavyweights up there. And, you can't really say this one would be bad as a main event, especially when a little while back, y'all remember how Joanna versus Weili, it blew Izzy versus Yoel out the water. Remember? You remember that? Like, after watching Weili and Joanna throw down that first time, and then when that main event played, we was all like, what? That was the same card, right? Adesanya and Romero. Let me see. Was it that card, UFC 248? Because I remember, like, after watching the main event, we were kind of like, yep, that was it. Yep, UFC 248. After what Weili and Joanna did, and we saw like Izzy and Yoel that same night, we were kind of like, this is boring. I couldn't even compare with it. So putting these two as a main event, it's not really like high risk. It'll make some people mad, like just because they want to see the men fight, just because. But no, like, no. Zama said, striking wise, Jan is the best equipped fighter against Weili. Not too many people think so. So I'm saying Weili ground game will overpower Jan. If she can get in there, it's gonna be rough. But if Jan can keep it at a distance, use that range, and put a right hand down the pipe, change things, and use a good jab. Because she'll move more than Carla or anybody else, like even Lemos. That's the thing. Like Jan will move more than Lemos. So I'm just saying, if she's able to utilize those things, yeah, she should be able to do something. All right. So after that championship fight, I don't know if this fight's been locked in yet, but May 4th, we got this fight here. Yasmin Lucindo and Karolina Kowalkiewicz. This is one that I've been saying, I'd like to see too. Yasmin Lucindo, yeah, they don't have it locked in on anywhere I've seen. They said they want to make this fight. I know early last month they said they wanted to make this one because I think Lucindo had called out Karolina, right? Hold on. All right, hold on. Just checking here. Yeah, it's not locked in yet. They don't have it put down, but it was a call out that I think they're going to work on making. Yasmin Lucindo, this girl is tough, man. After coming into the UFC close fight with Jauregui, she banked her 2 good wins against Viana and Rogan Walker, I think, at flyweight. Had a couple cancellations. I remember she was supposed to fight Josephine Newson. I was ready for that fight. That one was going to be crazy. But now, with her against Karolina, this is a good step up. She's won 2 fights. She's 2-1 in the UFC. And I think they see something in her too now that they want to try to get her ranked. She's taking on the number 13. So if this is going to be her biggest test to date, skill-wise on the feet, and, even on the ground, like how far has Karolina's ground game come to handle against this young killer? Hard leg kicks, she be setting traps too. Lucindo, she been fighting since she was a youngster, man. Moonlight said, I love Lucindo. I want to see her versus Denise Gomes. That's a good fight. Victor said Tatiana out again. Yeah, Tatiana's out. Still, she's back to training a little bit, but yeah, she's out right now. Brian said Lucinda is my dark horse. If she beats Carolina convincingly, she'll be in my triple threat. If she does that, she gets a 13 spot. That'll be her third win in a row in the UFC. Yeah, that would be a good win for her. And I think, with what I've seen Lucinda doing different than Yasmin Jauregui, even though she came up short in that fight, it's definitely been working well for her, like the way she's kind of developing as far as adapting to certain fights, not just going in at a brawl. She has been like taking it down and pacing herself in fights. Like she has been setting up more counters, starting off with her calf kicks more, utilizing grappling. So they're kind of taking two different paths. Even though she came up against that short against Yasmin Jauregui, you see in her learn from her mistakes and growing more even outside of training. So yeah, Carolina, that's going to be a real test for her, though. That's going to be a real test for her, I think, because she's facing, former title contender. And Carolina's been shutting it down on some of these girls. Like Carolina was on a 5-fight losing streak, but she's won 4 in a row. I mean, we look at the quality of girls. Of course, they don't compare to the 5 that she lost to, but she's beating a lot of unranked girls. But this might be where Yasmin steps it up and says, "I'm different." She's gonna be like, "I'm different." This could be that fight where she says, "Oh, I'm not like Felice Harrigan. I'm not like Vanessa Demopoulos or any of these girls you beat." And I don't think she is. I don't think she is. So I think this is gonna be that one fight. Like, if Yasmin wins it, she's gonna earn it. She's really gonna earn this one. But we'll see if they schedule this one. James said at WMMA been around since when in UFC? The strawweight division been around since 2014. The first fight was first WMMA fight. Strawweight division came around 2014. Where was the first WMMA fight in the bantamweight division? Wasn't that like 2013? Yeah, WMMA's been around since 2013, right? Because bantamweight was around before strawweight, so it's been around like 11 years, right? It's been 11, right? Yeah, Carmouche Rousey was first, so Rousey Carmouche was before any of the because the Carla Rose fight was the inaugural fight for strawweight, and Ronda was already around. Yeah, it was 2013. It was like beginning of 2013. So yeah. All right, so yeah, this hadn't been locked in yet, but this should be good. I think Carolina and Yasmin Lucindo, they can both resort to brawling. It all comes down to who gets hurt first, or who's gonna show their respect. Because I can see it in this fight. Because Carolina's boxing it's been looking pretty good against the girl she's fighting. Like that uppercut she throws, the overhand right from Lucindo. So these girls are gonna be going at it at times, but I can see a time where they make an adjustment and somebody might try to slow it down and get a takedown. But yeah, this one should be a pretty decent fight coming up in May. And last, we got May 18th. This one was just announced. Emily Ducote and Vanessa Demopoulos. This is kind of a nice little style matchup, striker versus grappler. Emily Ducote, she's let me see. What is she now in the UFC? Let's see, 13-8, longtime veteran of the sport. She is, 2-2 in the UFC right now. 2-2, came up short against Angela Hill and Godinez. Even though she's more of a striker, she came up short against those more mobile strikers that throw high volumes. Sometimes, when she slows it down and she's trying to pick her shots, she gets hit back. She's getting hit. And again, lack of defense here. Even though she's one of the sharp strikers that came from Invicta, she's kind of got to work on her defense too. Like a lot of these girls got offense, but defense is a big problem with these girls. Demopolis, her, like, she fights off hard a lot, but when she gets to the ground, she's very flexible, very, very dangerous. Like, her submission game is still up there. She submitted I think she only got one in the UFC. Yeah, one girl, Sylvania Juarez, she almost got knocked out, but she came back and submitted her. But before that, she had got a few submissions early on in her career. She's just really strong and flexible on the ground. Let me see. She is Emily Ducote's 2-2, and she is, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, Ducote's got 4 wins in the UFC. She's 4-1. Okay. And her heart usually wins her fights. I noticed that, she'll throw those overhand rights, come storming in, but sometimes, you walk into one of these big ones, that's all it takes. If Emily Ducote can line up one of them shots like she did back in the day against Danielle Taylor, never know. But yeah, I like this one. I see some blood in this fight from both of these girls, but gotta see somebody step out of the box, man. Like, I don't necessarily see the next contender off of this fight either. And I don't even see the next top 15 fighter off of this one. I just see a good fight out of this fight. Like, whoever wins this one, we still need to see them do a little bit more. Still have to do a little bit more against maybe, let's say the winner of this fight would have to me, fight a Jillian Robertson next. They'd have to fight somebody, Jillian Robertson or Sam Hughes in the rematch. If she wins her fight, like maybe Sam fights one of these girls. Or unless Sam moves on and tries to get a top 15 if she beats Yasmin Jauregui. But we'll see. So yeah, those are all the fights coming up, man. Up till May, unless they throw in some more fights. But yeah, like I said, a lot of these girls in unranked realm, defense is a big part. I can't really tell you who's going to be the next one as far as who's going to be in the top 10 for a long time, who's going to be top 5. I think Lupi will get to top 5 probably, or at least top 7. Jillian Robertson might climb a little bit higher, but she might reach her ceiling if she doesn't work on her striking. Who else? Marina will still be around for a little bit. I think, with her experience, it's hard to say, even if she beats Andrade, if she ever gets that title shot. Hopefully she does. She's been around for a long time. Hope she does. I think Sam should get to the top 15 at some point. I think Corey McKenna will. Still tough to say with a lot of these girls. Let me see. Who else? Yasmin Lucindo, I think she's like the one to really look out for. I think she's really one to look out for, though. All right. And then there's the other girl, Eduardo Mora. I know Eduardo Mora, she won the Contender Series and won her UFC debut, but Eduardo Mora got to make weight. I'm not sure if she is a strawweight. That girl is big. That girl is big. Might be a flyweight. And with Tatiana, just the lone wolf right now. I need to check out that documentary too. Hopefully Tatiana is able to come back sometime in May or April or May. Pick up where she left off. Maybe, like I said, get the Verna Dern winner. We'll see what happens with her. And here's a good fight I'd like to see. I would like to see this fight, though. I don't know. I want to see that fight. If they come back around the same time, let's see this rematch. When did they fight? Was it the Contender Series? I think it was a Contender Series when they fought. Or was it an actual fight? Let me see. Carla Esparza beat Tisha Torres. Yeah, in the Tough House like 10 years ago. So yeah, let's see them two fight again. It's been 10 years and they haven't fought since then. So let's see these two fight since they both, have been out around the same time, and they'll come back around the same time. They both just had a baby, and then I think they both, still want to come back. Because Carla said she's not retired, and Tisha, she's not retired. So yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's see the two moms try to run it back since the Contender Series. A lot's changed since then, but not a bad fight. But yeah, man, that's all I got on this, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here. Dang, it's already an hour and a half talking about all these fights with y'all. But yeah, Strawweight doesn't look too bad. At least we got something going on more so than bantamweight. I can't complain. I cannot complain when I look at that compared to what we got at 135. Hopefully 135 picks it up somehow. But I'm just not really looking forward to Kayla and Holly, though. Kayla and Holly just can't give me hype. Aaron and Manon has a better ring to it. Kayla Harris versus Holly Holm, not so much. Weili Yan, yeah. Kayla Holly, no. But let me get up out of here, y'all. I'm hungry. I know some of y'all want to watch that Super Bowl. I don't care about the Super Bowl. Really, really don't care. But y'all can find something else to do. I stayed on as long as I could for now, but I got to go. Hit that like on your way out. Easy. Who you talking about? Easy. Casey O'Neal. Oh, I know you gonna say that. All right, hold on. What y'all talking about? Oh, Weili. Easy said, I think her knee is shot. That's the same knee. Oh, you talking about Tatiana's knee? Oh, is it? It's the same knee. I'm gonna check out that documentary though, because they were talking about her injuries in that one, I think. So I'm gonna check that one out because I think she goes into it. All right, y'all. Let me get up off of here. But yeah, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you missed it, go back and listen. And yeah, let me know what fights y'all looking forward to. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.